She's seen Encanto more times than she can count. And she can count to 10. She mentioned Mirabel in every conversation. But the moment she actually met Mirabel, she was speechless. That's pura magia. Find yours at Walt Disney World Resort.
5 years, 10 months, and 2 days. That's how long it took to grow the 38 inches to ride on Cali River Rapids. But the moment the wait finally ended, that was pura magia. Discover it at Walt Disney World Resort.
I'm Nicola Coughlan, and for BBC Radio 4, this is history's youngest heroes. Rebellion, risk, and the radical power of youth.
She thought, right, I'll just do it. She thought about others rather than herself.
12 stories of extraordinary young people from across history.
There's a real sense of urgency in them, that resistance has to be mounted, it has to be mounted now.
Follow History's Youngest Heroes wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Misha Jones, a producer here at Wonder Media Network, and I'm so excited to be guest hosting this week's episodes of Womanica. This Black History Month, we're talking about Renaissance women. As part of the famed cultural and artistic Harlem Renaissance movement, these women found beauty in an often ugly world. Today, we're talking about the quick-stepping performer dubbed the Queen of Swing. Please welcome Norma Miller. Norma was born on December 2nd, 1919 in Harlem to an immigrant family from Barbados. Her father just died a month before Norma was born, leaving her mother to raise 2 daughters on her own. Even as a very small child, Norma had a passion for dance. Her earliest performances were at only 5 years old for amateur nights at local theaters. She'd also dance at the rent parties, where neighbors and friends chipped in to help the family afford their apartment and dance lessons for little Norma. Norma later explained, Black girls didn't have many outlets. You had laundry, you had hairdresser or teacher. Now, I didn't qualify for any of those. I could dance. I could just do it naturally. When their family moved to an apartment on West 140th Street, they found themselves right by Harlem's famous Savoy Ballroom. At night, the swing music from the house band would filter through their windows. Norma would press up against the glass, watching the shadows moving gracefully behind the ballroom curtains. At 12, she was far too young to enter the venue. Instead, she and other neighborhood kids would dance on the sidewalk outside to the music coming out through the doors. And that's exactly what she was doing on Easter Sunday, 1932, when professional swing dancer twist-mouthed George Ganaway first spotted her. Impressed with Norma's moves, George asked her for a dance. She later recalled, "He swung me out. I don't know if I ever hit the floor. He just flew me all around." Despite her young age, Norma had the agility and confidence of a professional, and George wasted no time inviting her inside the Savoy to perform on stage. Popular dance was going through a new evolution at the time. The waltz and the tango were out. A new dance was all the rage, the Lindy Hop. Named after famous pilot Charles Lindbergh, the first man to fly solo from New York to Paris. Norma was an excellent Lindy Hopper. She knew all the steps, the swing out, the side flip, the sugar push, and she proved it by winning the Harvest Moon Ball dance contest at the Apollo Theater in 1934. This victory led dancer Herbert White to invite Norma to join his dance troupe, the Lindy Hoppers. At only 15 years old, Norma was dancing on Broadway and touring across the United States and Europe with the Lindy Hoppers. She made her screen debut in 1937, dancing as part of the Lindy Hop sequence in the Marx Brothers film, A Day at the Races. Norma and the Lindy Hoppers were also featured in the 1941 film Hell's A-Poppin'. She and her dance partner appear in chef costumes, with Norma jumping, twirling, and sliding with feverish energy. But with the onset of World War II came the premature end for the Lindy Hoppers, and Norma's career faltered over the next decade. In the early 1950s, she founded her own jazz dance group called the Norma Miller Dancers. They toured the United States and Australia, notably performing many times with the Count Basie Orchestra. It was an era marked by extreme racial tension and discrimination. Norma and the other Black performers she traveled with were treated like second-class citizens, even as they sold out packed venues in Miami Beach and Las Vegas. They were refused entry to swanky restaurants or forced to stay in colored hotels, even as they dazzled crowds at fancier hotel ballrooms down the road. Norma lived in Vegas for most of the 1960s and 70s. As she got older, she transitioned to a career in stand-up comedy, often opening for her friend and popular comedian Red Fox. She also appeared in several television sitcoms, including Sanford and Son. Even though her dancing years were behind her, Norma's legacy as a dance icon lived on. In 2006, she was the subject of the PBS documentary Queen of Swing.
Give me the beat. Give me the beat. Feel the beat.
She appeared in several other documentary films and series about the swing era, including Ken Burns' Jazz. She also published several books, including a memoir titled Swingin' at the Savoy, and a children's book based on her life called Stompin' at the Savoy. Norma continued to celebrate the dance that made her famous even as she reached her late 90s. In 2018, she visited Sweden to attend Herräng Dance Camp, a gathering of Lindy Hop lovers from around the world. But even the Queen of Swing was surprised that the dance had remained so popular. When she first heard of the event, she laughed. "You've got to be kidding talking about some goddamn Lindy Hop in Sweden. Who the hell's gonna come here?" But she went anyway, sporting a sequin jacket and watching the crowd do the same dance she'd done on the sidewalks of Harlem as a little girl. Norma died on May 5, 2019, at her home in Fort Myers, Florida. She was 99 years old. All month, we're talking about Renaissance women. For more information, find us on Facebook and Instagram at Womanica Podcast. Special thanks to Jenny and Liz Kaplan for having me as a guest host. Talk to y'all tomorrow.
I'm Nicola Coughlan, and for BBC Radio 4, this is history's youngest heroes. Rebellion, risk, and the radical power of youth.
She thought, right, I'll just do it. She thought about others rather than herself.
12 stories of extraordinary young people from across history.
There's a real sense of urgency in them, that resistance has to be mounted now.
Follow history's youngest heroes wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome to the Criminalia podcast. I'm Maria Tremarchi.
And I'm Holly Fry. Together, we invite you into the dark and winding corridors of historical true crime.
Each season, we explore a new theme, from poisoners to art thieves.
We uncover the secrets of history's most interesting figures, from legal injustices to body snatching.
And tune in at the end of each episode as we indulge in cocktails and mocktails inspired by each story.
Listen to Criminalia on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.